Good morning and welcome to Meal Prep. I got some tasties for you today. For breakfast, I made gingerbread baked oatmeal. I always get that crooked. And I've made it before. You'll see, I kind of took it out of the pan too soon. You'll see it fall apart, but that's okay. It happens. It happens to the best of us. And then for lunch, I tried something new, shrimp taco bowls. Oh my gosh, they look delicious. They were a bit of trouble because just a lot of steps, nothing hard to cook, just a lot of steps to it. So I think that they'll be worth it. I can't wait till tomorrow to try the first one. I made some cilantro yogurt sauce to go with it. And then, let's see, snack, pimento cheese deviled eggs. I've made those before. Then last minute yesterday, I decided to make Pound Droppers cheesecake, her Funfetti cheesecake, but I turned it lemon. I still put the sprinkles in it, but I made it with lemon pudding and lemon cake mix. So you can mix them up however you like, but the cake mix really makes a difference. So that was a last minute thing, and that's it for my week. I think it's going to be a good week. I think I've got a lot of good choices to pick from. And so I guess with that being said, let's just go get started. For the gingerbread baked oatmeal, we want to start with our dry ingredients. 2 cups old-fashioned oatmeal, a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of ground cloves, a half teaspoon of ground ginger, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And we just want to mix that together really, really well. Then we're going to add our wet ingredients. And for this, we have 2 cups of unsweetened almond milk, a 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce, which is after the 1 tablespoon of melted coconut oil. There's the applesauce. And then in this next little bowl, I have mixed my 1.5 tablespoons of molasses and 2 tablespoons of sugar-free pancake syrup. And so then we just want to mix all that together until it's really well. But then we don't want to forget our vanilla. I'm getting ahead of myself. Teaspoon of vanilla. I just eyeballed it. Now let's mix it together really well. Once it's mixed, we are going to pour it in a greased 9 by 9 inch dish, and we're going to bake it at 350 for, mine took 40 minutes. It might have could have gone a little longer, and you'll see here in a moment. Now, while it's baking, we're going to make the glaze. This is 3/4 cup of Lakanto powdered sugar sweetener. Use whichever powdered sweetener you like. And then it's 2 tablespoons of almond milk and a teaspoon of vanilla. I just had them mixed together. So just mix it together. I'm going to show you what it will look like. See, it's just a nice little, kind of a thick glaze. You want to put it on when the gingerbread comes out of the oven because we want it to soak in. Now I'm getting ready to speed this up because I want you to see as you spread it around how it will soak in. There will still be some left on top, but I want you to see how it will soak in. That's why I'm just going to let you look at this right quick. I cut it into 6 servings, and I should have let it cool longer, probably 20 minutes, and I got ahead of myself. So you can see that it fell apart. The first one did, and I think the second one did, but the rest came out okay. Now, with that glaze on top, you do not need syrup when you have it for breakfast. It is sweet enough as it is. And here you have it. Here's my 6 servings. You can see that one that fell apart, but the rest, they look pretty good. And next up will be our shrimp taco bowls. I'm using this frozen deveined shrimp. They want you to run it in a colander underwater for 5 minutes, and no way was I running my water for 5 minutes. So I just put it in this big bowl, put some cold water on it. It wasn't heated, it was just cold. And it probably soaked for 30-35 minutes. I changed it once, broke apart the shrimps that were stuck together by ice, and then before I drained it, I put it in the colander and picked through any ones that still had ice on it and just ran it under the water. And it worked fine. So the next step is to drain it. I let it sit there while I was doing some other stuff. but I want it dry. This is an old towel from Mama. I don't think it's called a tea towel, but it doesn't have lint on it, and it's great for draining and drying off all kind of food. So I just put the shrimp in there on that one, and then I had another one of hers that I just put on top and dabbed around because it's going to fry better if you get all the moisture off of it. If somebody knows what these towels are called, let me know. I don't think they're tea towels. I wish I could show you. It's kind of a waffle texture, really, really small. Anyway, that's beside the point. I got all the liquid off, and then you have to, they've been deveined, but you have to take the tail and the shells off, and I'll just show you how to do one. I'm sure you know how to do it, but just for the interest of showing you what goes on into the recipe. And I was trying to be careful because I was afraid I was going to pull that tail off. So there the tail comes off, and then you see where those little feet are, little legs, whatever you call them. Get a hold of that, and you can pull the rest of the shell off. It's tedious, but I think it's going to be worth it. And so then I just did that with the rest of them. Now, I'm cooking my black beans. It's just a can. It's just a can of corn. And then this is just some instant brown rice because I take shortcuts in the kitchen when I'm tired or I'm pushed or I forgot. So, yeah. Now we're going to mix up our taco seasoning. This is my little method that I use when I mix it up. It's easy to mix up 4 as it is 1. So I get everything out that goes into the spice mixture. I do this for all of them. And I put all the ones together. See, like all those sitting there together, they all use 1 teaspoon. So I don't have to keep looking at the recipe. So I'm not going to go through every single ingredient. It's on my website. Now that I have them mixed up, I have these little bags I got at Hobby Lobby. And it's just taco times 1. So I know there's just 1 recipe in there. I left out the thickener this time. I can add that when I actually make the tacos. So I fight with this little bag just a little bit and get my funnel. See, it's just being aggravating, that's all. So I get my funnel and then I just pour it in there, zip it up, and you have your own store-bought handy mix just ready to go. I have a couple containers, like Tupperware type containers that I keep all my spice mixes in the cabinet. Now the next thing we're going to make is the yogurt cilantro sauce. And every time I make something with cilantro, I love to show this tip. I'm just going to speed it up because it'd be kind of tedious if I didn't. Hold on to the stems and rake through with your fork. Now you'll get a little rogue stem here and there, but that's if they're just loose. Now I can guarantee you I got more doing this way than if I picked them off individually. So if there's any left on the stems, I don't feel bad. Then just cut through it as small as you want. Then to make the sauce, just start with 1 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. Now, you know, normally I just dump my garlic in when I'm cooking, but since this is in a raw application, I actually measured it. So it's like 1 clove of minced garlic. And then a little bit of salt and pepper. That's just to taste. Now, the cilantro part is just as much as you want. I ended up putting all of it in there because it really wasn't that much, and I like cilantro. So you can do as much or as little as you want, and then just mix it all together really well. And that is all there is to the sauce. We're finally to the shrimp. Now, when I peeled it, I put them in little piles so I'd know how many to have at the end. There's like 2 piles of 12 and 2 piles of 11 or 3, I think, something like that. Anyway, heat your pan up and put you just a little bit of, I use avocado oil. You can use olive oil, and I don't count it, but I don't count sauteing oil. It's too healthy for you to worry about. Now, I'm taking my taco seasoning and just put it on there to taste. I didn't want to overpower it. So I just put on there, stirred it around, and put some more until it looked right. Now that the oil is hot, just dump all your shrimp in the pan, and we're just going to cook it until it is opaque. I undercooked mine just a little bit because it's going to be reheated in the microwave probably for a minute. So I just stir fried it around until it was done, but not 100% completely done. Now all that's left to do is to put this thing together. So I counted out my little shrimps. I think it was 3 with 11 and 1 with 12. So I got those in. And then the can of black beans, I just divided evenly between the 4. I didn't want to have any left. I did the same thing with the corn. I didn't want to have any left, so I just divided it 4 ways. The tomato, it was just 1. I obviously divided it 4 ways. Then let's see, what's next? The cheese. No, these onions. Onions are my favorite thing in the world practically, but these were scorching hot. I had one on a salad, so I didn't put much on there because I tasted those things forever. Then I'm using Velveeta shreds, only 1/8 of a cup, which is 1 point, and you can see that it is plenty for this salad. 1/4 a cup would have been way too much. So I think the only thing we have left is to put on our little lime wedges. So 1 lime split 4 ways, and then we'll have a look at how gorgeous. Oh, I can't wait to dig in. So it's 4 points worth of brown rice under the bottom. The cheese is 1 point, and the avocado mash here, that is 3 points. So it's just a box of 4, which is perfect for the week. And then 0 points for our yogurt sauce. So that makes my lunch 8 points. And I think that's a nice big bowl of food for 8 points. Now we are going to make our pimento cheese deviled eggs. And I've already separated 6 eggs, got the yolks in my food processor. This is 1 tablespoon of drained pimentos. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of what I'm using is the Kraft Light mayonnaise. You can use any kind you want. Now, I'm not using Duke's just for the sake of points, because y'all know, if you know me, Duke's is my mayonnaise. But I will settle for Kraft Light in a pinch when I want to watch my points. And this is one of those things. It's a snack, so I don't want it to be high points. And then I'm also using the Velveeta shreds in here. It's 1/4 a cup. I forgot salt and pepper. Don't forget the salt and pepper. It makes a difference in the flavor. It really does. Now you're just going to put it on the food processor, and you just want to whirl it until it is nice and smooth. Now I'm going to tell you, when you see the texture, you can add more mayonnaise if you want to make it a little looser, I guess you would say, but I did not play with the points to see. This was the recipe when I built it the very first time I made it, so I just left it as is. I ended up putting it back on there, whirling it around some more, and I want you to see the texture. Like I said, you can add more mayonnaise, but just calculate your points. It was fine by me, but please don't forget that salt. I could definitely tell a difference. Now you're just going to load them up just like you do regular old deviled eggs. And when you see when you see how bad mine looked, promise me you'll do a better job. Ooh, ain't them the worst looking deviled eggs you ever seen? But the points, 0 for 1 and 1 point for 2 to 4. So I'll take it. The last thing we're making is pound dropper Funfetti cheesecake, except I'm making it lemon. I highly recommend using your hand mixer or your KitchenAid, because when I've made so many of these cheesecakes, different flavors, using the whisk, it gets kind of thick, and if you're not very strong, it's kind of hard on your arms. So I suggest using a mixer for this. That is 3 cups of non-fat Greek yogurt and 3 eggs. Now to that, we're going to add 1 package of sugar-free lemon pudding. And if you don't have lemon, you can use vanilla or cheesecake flavor. And then 3 tablespoons of your favorite sweetener, which mine is Lakanto monk fruit. And it was also 3 tablespoons of lemon cake mix in that same bowl. And this is cake batter extract, 2 teaspoons. Again, use vanilla if you don't have the cake batter. And I think that's all we add to it. So Let's see. Oh, we got don't forget our sprinkles, 2 tablespoons of sprinkles. Then we're going to mix it all together with the hand mixer here. Then we're going to pour it into our greased dish. She uses a 9-inch springform. I don't have that. I have used this 10-inch square dish every single time except the very first time, and it works perfect. It's just a little thinner. It will bake at 350 for 30 minutes on the dot, and every single time that I have made this, 30 minutes has been the magic number. Now, I forgot to show it puffed up straight from the oven, so this is after it's cooled about 20 minutes. I like to put a paper towel in before I cover it to absorb the moisture, and when I unwrap it, you'll see exactly why. So I just covered it with my beeswax cloth. This pan, and this cloth that I got at Trader Joe's last year is the only thing I use it for. I think Joan over at Joan's Point of Plate, she makes hers, so maybe she'll show us one day how she does it. But you can see all the water, the condensation. That's why I put the paper towel in there, because that would be on top of your cheesecake. In this big dish, I cut mine into 9 slices, and it works out to be 1 true point per slice. So I don't think you can beat that with a stick. I just wanted to show you the texture. And as you're looking at that cake, that will wrap it up for this video. I hope maybe you got inspired to meal prep something for the week. And I hope you have a good week. And I will see you on my next video. How about that?